Hi, it's Beverly with the Intuitive Interior. It's already February 2023. This February, tomorrow, February 4th, is the start of the Yin Water Rabbit year. Today, that means today, in the past couple of days in February, have been the end of the Yang Water Tiger year. And I don't know about you, but it seems like a whole lot of people are experiencing what happens when you are getting ready for a vacation and suddenly you've got to get all the things done all at the same time, all at once, because you're on a deadline. You've got a due date. It's like, okay, where we got to go? Because wow, there has been a lot of, it feels like a lot of last minute whoosh. The yang water energy is like a waterfall or a fire hose just clearing everything out. And that is what a lot of people have been telling me that they're experiencing. The Starting tomorrow from February 4th through March 3rd, that's going to have a little bit of a similar feel because we are in a Yang Wood Tiger month. So we still have that same tiger energy, even though we're in the year of the rabbit. The month is still going to have that opportunity to, wanting to pounce. Now, the difference between the Yang Water vibe and the Yang Wood vibe is Yang Water is more about that deep emotion, washing away everything that isn't tied down. Yang Wood is more of that focused energy. It's like, okay, I see what we're doing. I'm going to now jump on it. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity to take advantage of things that have been planted up to this point in time. So that's kind of the general feel for February from an energetic standpoint. Now, I always do my reading, the I Ching reading. And so the first card I got was number 32. It's duration. It has the yin wood on the bottom, so right here, and then with the yang wood on top. Yin wood is, again, more of that kind of the beauty, the underneath. There's a lot of beauty underneath. There's coming at things from more of that space of focus, but you still have there's like an undercurrent of beauty. The words on this are constancy, continuity, endurance, perseverance, maturity, strengthening, stability, and a deep commitment. The focus line on this number 32 card is line 4. Now, remember, the bottom 3 lines on the hexagram or the trigram are all about the internal. It's the internal workings. The top 3 are beginning to look at things coming in from the outside. So this one is number 4. It says, try as you might to bring about a successful outcome. If you're barking up the wrong tree in the first place, it won't ever happen. Sniff around elsewhere and see where things might be more promising. Well, remember I talked about that Yang Wood Tiger energy? You are going to have an opportunity this month to see whether or not what you're doing is actually fruitful and productive, and you'll know when to jump and to jump ship. This is really talking about finding that pragmatic approach to any decisions. It says without an earthy, pragmatic approach toward attaining a successful outcome, unforeseen events can undermine your efforts and relationships. A firm orientation in the present reduces the likelihood of panic once the winds of change begin to howl. It helps you remain aloof from the tendency to identify with the emotional roller coaster of peak and valley experiences. Regular maintenance and sticking to a routine support your stability by restoring balance and providing relief from pressures brought on by an overtaxed mind or an overextended lifestyle, refreshing your capacity for insight and overviews. Routine and maintenance have been certainly coming up for me a lot. The routines of our, the routines make up our habits. In fact, I just recently I'm so proud of myself. I completed 30 days of yoga. It was an online class. I highly recommend doing something like that. Routine and consistency have been difficult for me in my life because there was always that pattern of, well, if somebody needs me, I have to drop everything in order to fulfill their needs. This time, I prioritized myself. And wow, it felt good. Are you maybe doing something similar for yourself? I highly recommend it. Whether it's journaling, yoga, walking, exercise, whatever, even just taking 10 minutes of meditation and doing it daily, I promise you, will help you find that center to deal with all those changes. Now, the next card is number 37. Well, let me just throw it at you so that you can see that it's number 37. It's the family. The I Ching has 64 year cycle because there are 64 hexagrams. This actually is the card for the yin water rabbit year. It's for the whole year. I recommend strongly that you look this card, number 37, up and do even more research on it if you want to get a flavor of what 2023 is going to be like. Now, this one has the fire hexagram or trigram underneath, the yin wood trigram up top. It's about the nurturing. It's about the warmth that family brings. But the family, it's all about heredity, blood bonds, kindred spirits, ancestry, home life, community, intimate relationships, and our human family. I mean, look at that beautiful family. Look at all those faces. Community, family. It is everyone. All of us are in this together. This focus line 3 says a lax attitude at home or at work is creating an undercurrent of permissiveness, creating the opportunity for certain individuals to take more and more for granted. It's essential to take a firm stand now, or matters will soon spin out of control. Be sharp and clear and decisive. If your method is overly forceful, it might wound others, but even that is preferable to ignoring the problem and everyone suffering for it later. As a society, we try to just go along to get along a little bit too often, and sometimes we actually have to say no. Enough. I will no longer tolerate you treating me like this. We do this to other people. We see this in the media all too often. The othering of others, the destruction of nature, without actually having a really good reason for it, when maybe some other ways of managing things could be done. This year especially is about returning to that nurturing, looking at ourselves as a community instead of focusing on the whole rugged individualism. This has come up quite a number of times now in these readings, because without the community, without the family, whatever that looks like, whatever those bonds are, it doesn't have to actually be your blood family, because let's face it, I've heard a lot of stories about families. They're not necessarily nice. They're kind of, some of these families can be kind of awful. But it says here, we have the intelligence to learn from our shared past and create a better world for our children to inherit. Each of us carries the seeds of that future buried deep within our hearts and in our dreams. Lasting change can be made, but only through our collective commitment to clear up the mistakes of the past. This process requires not only tolerances of our differences, but a genuine willingness to work with them. Initially, these are shaky, challenging steps to take, but they are made easier when we focus on our commonality rather than our dissimilarity. But it says we can also that the crossing the threshold means of the new means leaving our deeply ingrained fearfulness of others and of nature behind. The best place is to start at home with your own familiar relationships. Now, if you live by yourself, check out your self-talk. Are you treating yourself the way that you think that you would like other people to treat you? Most people kind of know. Anyway, that is, again, I cannot stress this one enough. The third card that I drew was number 34, Great Power. I mean, look at this guy. He's got the dragon headdress. He's got all these, powerful clothes on. He's got the Tai Chi, the yin yang symbol in his chest. And, it is all about balance and power. There is yang metal underneath and yang wood on top. When you have that, it is structure, it is rules, it is focused energy. And sometimes it can be a little overbearing. The words on this are strength of character, authority, dignity, influence, self-confidence, leadership, peak condition, and potency. It's a powerful card, wouldn't you say? Yeah, so this one, the focus line is number 3. Says it is all too easy to begin believing that just because you're in a position of influence, that you have the right to impose your opinions on others. This is dangerous territory to enter. No one appreciates being made to feel inferior or told they're wrong. Now, think back to one of the other cards right there with family. It's talking, or with the first one with the duration, talking about, maybe you're doing things wrong. Maybe you need to reconsider. Maybe the path that you're taking isn't the right one. And then you have, the family one where it's talking about, being forceful, be clear, and being firm, even if it means hurting people's feelings. And now we have this card that's talking about power, and how in human terms, it appears as a powerful nature that has a capacity to influence others on a grand scale. The form that influence takes depends primarily on one's strength of character, centering, and willingness to take responsibility. Taking responsibility, that's a challenge. That's been a challenge for a lot of folks. Unless these qualities are rooted in the being, there's a tendency for power to become distorted as belligerence, dogmatism, or some other form of gross egotism. As it is obvious to anyone who watches politics or world affairs, just because a person is in a powerful position does not necessarily mean that he or she is great. To become worthy of admiration or reverence requires passing through many tests of character that may or may not be obvious from the outside. These tests may be repeated through a lifetime and become increasingly intense as the individual grows more aware of subtler, deeper levels of the unconscious that craves and distorts power towards narrow and egotistical ends. I think we've all been able to see where that kind of behavior has been. It seems like it's really been up a lot. Again, looking at American politics, we've got people who are making up their past whole cloth just because they think that is going to get them the power. Power built on flimsy foundations will fall. When you are coming from when you're looking at how are you building yourself, look at the foundation that you're building. As long as you're coming from a space of integrity and of working for the greater good rather than just for your own selfish ends, that's the kind of power that will last and be respected. It says, remember that the higher your profile, the more likely you are to become the focus of other people's envy and discontent. It goes with the territory. A sense of decorum and self-restraint is essential when you are the center of attention, although it's not easy. Don't compromise your integrity by becoming petty or small-minded because of someone else's negativity. You have much to offer and can set wheels in motion that will be great for everyone, so stay on course. It says it's wise now to avoid extremes of any kind, particularly if you are in a powerful position. Weigh all things in balance before reaching conclusions. The effect your decisions will have on others should not be ignored or taken lightly. February has the potential to be kind of a setup for the next month. Obviously, it's going to be a setup for the next month. I mean, come on, March is coming whether we like it or not. But with this Yang Wood Tiger energy, followed by the Yin Wood Rabbit month in March, it is really critical that whatever we're taking into this month, that we're doing it from a place of integrity, that we're using our power wisely, and that we're thinking about the long-term ramifications for ourselves and the community that we chose and that we're part of as a whole. Rugged individualism has its place, but we don't live on an island. I hope everyone can use this feeling, use this vibe, use this reading as a way to, again, recommit to building the life that we want within our community. Hope that helps. Have a great February.